All right. Hey, everybody. AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Danny Phantom Vlogs Revisit. This time, we are talking about Identity Crisis. This is a weird one. My thoughts on this are conflicted because, on the one hand, it has one plot point that is incredibly memorable in the show because it's one of the things that really stuck out. Okay, guess I'm restarting. Hey, everybody. AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Danny Phantom Vlogs Revisit. This time we're talking about Identity Crisis. And this is a really weird one because I'm conflicted about how I feel about this one. On the one hand, this episode has one of the most interesting plot points I've seen in the show to date, with Danny splitting himself up into two. All of his heroic and the good aspects of his person end up going into his ghost half, where his human half end up getting all of the negative and bad parts of who he is. And this goes in line with, and it honestly just kind of goes in line with um, my big theory about Danny Phantom, um, which I do plan on remaking this year. Um, so that's a really cool part of this episode, but it's bogged down by a whole plot line about Technus coming back and taking control of the Fenton household and turning it into a vehicle for some reason. And I can't even, honestly, I watched it just like an hour ago, and I already can't remember why Technus is here. Why is he the threat? Why is he the threat? How did he come around? How did he come about being the threat of the episode? So as far as the Technus episode, it is one of the weaker ones because I always forget he's part of this episode. When I think of this episode, I always remember how Danny had split into two, and I remember that portion of the episode. I don't remember the fact that Technus is the villain of the episode. I never remember that. Um, I always end up forgetting that he's even in this episode. Um, so I'm conflicted because it has some stuff that I really like to think about this show, but it also has parts of it that I always forget are even a part of the episode. Um, and I mean, sorry, I would love to go more in depth about what I like about the episode, but I'm going to end up going in depth about what I take away from this episode whenever I get around to remaking my Danny Phantom theory. Um, so I don't want to go too deep into it in this episode. And the stuff that's bad is honestly just forgettable. I honestly can't remember what Sam and Tucker do in this episode. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Danny splits himself up. If I'm remembering correctly, Danny splits himself up so he can spend more time with his friends while also fighting ghosts. Um, and unfortunately, his human half ends up getting all of the bad qualities of him, where all the good qualities end up in the ghost version. So they don't like hanging out with his human half. Um, and so yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to say about this. This is kind of a middle of the road episode. It has some really good elements that really make me think, but it also has elements that I always forget are even a thing in this episode. So I'll give it a C. Middle of the road, a C. C average. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got for this one. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.